What's crack lacking? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So we're back for some NFL draft grades. How did your teams do? We're doing the AFC South this time around. We're putting out 2 of these a day. So your division, your team, it's coming up very soon. So hold with me, all right? But go ahead and become a bro and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. And thank you for everyone that tagged along with me for the watch party. It was a ton of fun and a lot more fun than I thought it'd be. And it was great interacting with you guys. I just love the community we have here. So let's keep it up with thumbs up. Maybe a thumbs up party. It's a Wrestle Talk reference. Thumbs up party. I know it is what it is. But how this works here, right? Basically, this team's going to be given grades anywhere from A+ to F. How the grades work: teams that did average, they did so-so. There were some good things, there were some bad things. I gave them a C. So if your team got a C, don't feel bad. They just did okay. D's, ooh man, those are teams that probably reached. They had a really below average draft. They probably could have done better. F's, you'd have to really throw if you were to get an F grade, in my opinion. B's, teams that maybe had above average drafts, they had maybe safe drafts. They basically did good. You did good. And then A's are those above and beyond. They got value when value was available. There is only 3 teams I gave A+ to, and then 9 teams altogether that I gave A's to. So really tough to get an A. More times than not, your teams are probably going to get a B. Because, I mean, this was a very deep draft. This was a very good draft. It was really hard to do bad in this draft, in my opinion. Some teams managed to do it, though. So let's go ahead. Let's dive into this. Again, let me know how you think your team did in the comment section below. We're going to start with the Houston Texans. I gave them a C+. They had an average draft, in my opinion. It was an average draft. It was an okay draft. I really like the Ross Blacklock pick. And it sounds like they were kind of pigeonholed into the Jonathan Greenard pick, that they were actually supposed to trade this pick to Detroit, but Detroit backed out at the last second. So they kind of just made a pick. Greenard, I like him. He's a high character guy with a very hard work ethic, and he's a developmental guy at this point. So on day 2, I kind of feel like you need to get guys that, I don't know, not necessarily safe, but if they do have that upside, it has to be pretty darn good upside. And I don't know if Greenard is in that conversation. Charlie Heck, though, I didn't like the pick there. He was a 6th rounder at best, in my opinion. A tackle that really struggled. Like, he's very tall. He's like 6'6", 6'7", but he struggles against guys that get better leverage on him. So I didn't really get the pick there. And their offensive line was kind of fine. So again, just didn't get the pick. John Reed was another question mark. I love the value of John Reed. I think he could be a solid number 2 in the league, but I think where he would succeed is in a very zone heavy off coverage scheme. So I just didn't really get it. And then Isaiah Coulter, great value. Again, they've brought in a lot of receivers though, so I don't know how he will necessarily fit into this roster, but I like the pick. It's great value. On to the next one. We're talking about the Indianapolis Colts. They got a good solid B for me. I love the Michael Pittman Jr. pick. He felt like he was going to be going to the Bengals. They were looking for a big receiver when they went and tried to get Devin Funchess. He got hurt. Michael Pittman, I think, is much better. Don't sleep on his speed. He's not necessarily fast, but he can get behind guys. But where he succeeds, because he doesn't necessarily get great separation. He is probably the best contested catch receiver in this draft. So if you're not going to get separation, you better be darn good at the contested catch. He's the best. The Jonathan Taylor pick, I don't like them so much trading up for a running back. I felt that's more of a luxury at this point for the Colts, but he does provide a potential maybe upgrade over Marlon Jackson, who's in the last year of his contract. So I understand the pick. I like the prospect. Value, I'm a little indifferent about, but Julian Blackman was pretty good value. He's probably more on the developmental end of the spectrum. maybe the eventual replacement for Malik Hooker if they don't sign a long-term deal with him. But I like physically he can be very, very good. Jacob Eason, who I misspelled in this, my apologies. Just great value. Again, a guy with great arm talent, and honestly, best situation for him. If he is the heir apparent to Phillip Rivers, then you're working with one of the best offensive lines in football. The thing with him is he doesn't handle pressure well. I didn't think he'd do well in an NFL pocket, but again, you're behind one of the best offensive lines in football, so it puts him in a great position. Danny Pittner, I thought, was a stellar pickup. A guy he's a very athletic guard. He could also be a swing tackle, so just adding to that very good offensive line was good. Robert Wisner, excellent pickup. A guy that is very versatile. He could play 5-tech. He could play on the interior. I comp him to Anthony Zettel, so I like the versatility. And then I didn't really like so much their 6th-round picks. Isaiah Rodgers was a guy that wasn't even on my board, so can't really say too much about him. Desmond Patman was a guy that was starting to get a little hype. He was getting 5th-round hype, so pretty solid there. And then Jordan Glasgow, he wasn't even the best safety on his team in college at Michigan, so not much to say about him. I don't know. A reach in my opinion. But overall, I think the Colts had a very, very good draft, especially at the beginning. I think they nailed they nailed up until, they nailed their first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks. So good on the Colts. On to the next team to talk about. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I gave an A-. I love their draft. I think they did very, very, very well. Especially early in the draft. CJ Henderson may have been a little bit of a reach, but he was starting to get that hype, so I get in him at 9 when they were talking about Atlanta maybe trading up to get him. So they get a guy that could come in and really help that secondary that is kind of depleted, devoid of talent. And then Clavon Chason was very good pick. He's very, very athletic. You're putting him now opposite of Josh Allen. That's a very scary duo. Chason, he has the athletic ability to drop back in coverage. I don't think you'd necessarily want him to do that, but he can. So I like that. And then Laviska Shenault Jr., I love the risk. I feel like they did a very good job with their first 2 picks. And then coming in, I was like, you know what? I literally said this in the stream that, you know what? Shenault could be the pick here. I say, if you're going to take a shot at receiver, take a guy with huge upside. Shenault immediately helps out. An area that they struggle with is the screen game. They're not like the Jaguars last year. They were not good on the outside from 10 yards or less. They really couldn't get much going. So Shenault, he instantly improves that. I like that a lot. A guy with, like I said, high upside. Davion Hamilton, a very safe pick. A guy that was also rumored to go maybe as high as the 2nd round. He comes in and he can play the 0-tech immediately. Only question with him is he had a very, very limited snap count there at Ohio State. So kind of question, why isn't he on the field more? But he had a very good offseason process. Ben Barch was another guy that had a great offseason process. So you get a guy that potentially could be a replacement to Cam Robinson if he doesn't produce this year. So I like that a lot. Josiah Scott was another very good pick. I think he was maybe one of the best slot corners in this draft. So they get him to come in and maybe compete with DJ Hayden. And then these next 2 picks, I was kind of whatever about. Shaq Quarterman was like, he's kind of like a traditional 3-down linebacker, or old school 3-down linebacker. He's probably now just a 2-down linebacker at this point. I still think he might be a liability in coverage. Daniel Thomas was a guy I had going undrafted, actually, so I'm not too high about that. But Colin Johnson, great value there in the 5th round. A guy who's got he's got prototypical outside wide receiver size. Just, the questions is, he's not the best contested catch receiver. He doesn't really create separation. So taking a shot on a guy with that physical upside, though, in the 5th round was very good. Jake Luton, I thought, was a steal in the 6th round. A guy I had a 4th round grade on. He is a very, very good potentially future backup quarterback, guy who goes through his progressions. Not necessarily the best arm, but it's good enough. He's very accurate, so I like that. Chris Claybrooks was a guy I didn't even have scouted on my board, so can't really say much. Overall, I really enjoyed the Jaguars draft. Why am I doing that? I said the Colts, and this time I said the Broncos for the Colts, and now I said the Panthers for the Jaguars, man. These animals got me messed up, man. They got me messed up. Tennessee Titans, I gave them a C. Felt like it was a very average draft. I really didn't like the Isaiah Wilson pick. I guess I didn't necessarily hate it. I get that he was starting to get first round hype. And I really thought it was coming from the the Seahawks. But a guy, yes, he's a mammoth. He's stupid strong. And you know what? He fits what they want to do. Is they're a run first team. They want to establish the run. They want to establish play action, which all really benefits Isaiah Wilson. So I don't mind it too much. Christian Fulton, absolute steal in the second round. They got a first round talent, top 20, top 15 talent in Christian Fulton. They did really good there. Darrington Evans, I had him as a 7th rounder, so, and let alone you're drafting a running back that early, I'm kind of whatever about. Murchison, very good depth for the defensive line. He's very athletic. I think he could come in and immediately help in their rotation. Cole McDonald, absolute steal there in the 7th round to be a backup. The guy's got a big cannon of an arm. You just kind of question the decision making with him. So a guy that they could groom for the future if things kind of go south with Tannehill. And then Chris Jackson, guy I just didn't have on my board. I couldn't tell you much about him. So yeah. But overall, it was a very average draft for me for the Titans for what they had. So I don't mind it too much. But yeah, that's it for the video. Like I said, let me know what you think in the comment section below, how your team did, and always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.